Nightline continues from New York City with Martin Bashir.
Would you know the difference between Sancerre and Sauvignon Blanc, a full bouquet or the woody tones of an oak-fermented Chardonnay? As more and more people enjoy drinking wine, there's also the challenge of how to describe it. So now, one wine aficionado has dispensed with the hefty vocabulary because he believes that anyone can evaluate a good vintage. Here's ABC's Ryan Owens.
Hello everybody, welcome to Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Vaynerchuk.
If Wayne's World had a wine aficionado, he'd be it.
The Oak Monster.
This 31-year-old rabid football fan, notice the New York Jets bucket, is on a one-man mission to uncork the mysteries of wine.
We're changing the wine world, aren't we? And it's a Merlot. It's 15% alcohol content.
From the office of his wine shop in, of all places, New Jersey, Gary records a webcast 5 days a week. He says each averages close to 40,000 viewers.
This is a kick in the nards. I'm going to trick you, sucker, kind of wine. Look at this color. This is like eating your shoe. I mean, this is a lot of leather. You know, like the golden locks. And the entire rainbow of flavor exploded into our face. The American dream. Woo! And some of the rainbow even got up our nose. And that's what's going on with this wine.
He sucks rocks, eats dirt, anything to explain what you should look for in a bottle.
When I describe wine, I describe it how it truly tastes to me. Cab Franc never ever failed to deliver bell peppers. And a lot of people want to use the wine terms, cassis and terroir and all these terms. And if it tastes like Big League Chew to me, then that's what it's going to be. It has absolutely attacked my palate.
Gary's style is brash, but don't be fooled. He knows his stuff. His parents immigrated from Russia and opened a modest liquor store here in 1983. Gary worked in the family business from the beginning and got hooked. He started reading Wine Spectator magazine in junior high. By high school, he was giving shoppers advice on Cabernets and Chardonnays.
This is the old store.
Before long, Gary turned his parents' small store into the 3-story wine library, which now rings up $60 million a year. Americans bought $27 billion worth of wine last year. That's almost twice what they drank a decade ago. And this immigrant son has found a way to capitalize on that. Half his sales are internet-based, wine boxed up and shipped around the country.
The first thing when he started talking to me about the internet and all this stuff, I said, it's, you know, our dream.
So today, we are bringing the thunder.
His style has gotten plenty of attention, including from critics, or wine snobs as Gary calls them. They point out he reviews wines he sells, which makes him a good salesman, not a true critic. For you, is this really about wine or is this business?
This is not about wine or business. This is about life. This is about people realizing we shouldn't be sheep. Hollywood told us to drink Pinot Noir, and now everybody drinks Pinot Noir.
He's talking about the 2004 film Sideways, which maligned Merlot.
And if they want to drink Merlot, we're drinking Merlot.
No, if anybody orders Merlot, I'm leaving. I am not drinking any Merlot!
And sent sales of Pinot Noir through the roof. Gary says Sideways is the perfect example of just how intimidated we've become by all those bottles of smashed grapes.
Justin's bringing sexy back, and I'm bringing Merlot back. Because
Gary says when picking a red or a white, forget what you've heard and try everything at every price. To prove the point, he set up a taste test with 2 bottles. One retails for $18, the other for $60, twice that in most restaurants. Gary said the cheaper was better, and this untrained palate agrees.
I would certainly say it tastes better. I did like the smell of that one better,
listen,
but I don't always smell my wine.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to pop a wine and smell it all night, then maybe this is the way to go. But if you do want to consume it, I just think this is a great example of where price has no impact on the wine industry.
One more lesson, Gary says when you're at a fancy restaurant and the server pours you a taste, quit trying so hard.
And so basically the move is...
Cool date move. Okay.
All right.
Smell it. You don't even have to taste it.
No. Because I've never seen anybody deliver the salmon and cut it and analyze it and flip it over and be like, oh, it's pink, tremendous.
What about the fumbling around with the cork? Are there things at the table that you should be looking for in your cork? Is that worth doing?
You know, I'm high on doing the Chinese football, like kind of like fling.
That goes over well at the fancy places.
Especially when you hit the person.
Gary says he still has a lot to teach and won't be satisfied until wine is, well, the new beer.
I don't know, you know, my hopes are that the next generation of wine drinkers are a lot more open-minded. You know, I love when somebody emailed me and said, that was one of the best wines I've ever had. I never heard of Chenin Blanc before. I loved it. P.S. I drank it at the NASCAR event this weekend. Yes! That's
now
what
we're making progress.
Now we're making progress.
I'm Ryan Owens for Nightline in Springfield, New Jersey.
Wine at the racetrack, that really is progress. Our thanks to Ryan Owens. And if you'd like to read more about Gary and the names of the wines in that head-to-head matchup, you can go to our website, nightline.abcnews.com. And when we come back, a stunning admission by one of America's greatest athletes.
ABC News Nightline, brought to you by IBM.